There have been two dramatic developments in the Trayvon Martin shooting case. According to ABC News, George Zimmerman's family doctor saw him the morning after the shooting of Trayvon Martin. Here's what George Zimmerman's doctor found: a broken nose, 2 black eyes, bruises on his face and lip, 2 cuts on the back of his head, and a back injury. The NBC affiliate in Florida is reporting that the medical director who performed the autopsy on Trayvon Martin found only 2 injuries on his body: the gunshot wound and broken skin on his knuckles. Welcome to the Duke lacrosse case all over again. Everything Zimmerman said about what happened to him turns out to be true after the media trying to cast him, along with the civil rights coalitions in this country, the race baiters, as abject lies. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what the doctor said. There's no speculation going on. The doctor's not speculating. The doctor did the exam the day after the incident happened. It's all been suppressed. Nobody's reported it. That's the point. And there wasn't even any media curiosity about it. Now, I'm not a forensic scientist, and I don't guess on matters like that. I don't have to guess. The facts are here. It's kind of hard not to connect the dots. Now, all of this information is coming out. You know why it's coming out? Because we're in the discovery phase of the Zimmerman trial, where each side has to show the other side what evidence they have. But you really have to wonder here, folks, why none of this came out before in the prosecutor's charging affidavit. Can we go back to that? The charging affidavit, which, remember, Dershowitz at Harvard said it was an embarrassment. It wouldn't survive the first inspection by a judge, but it did. But he said it was pathetic. It was unprofessional. None of this is in the charging document or the affidavit. I thought that the state was obligated, or obliged anyway, to provide all the relevant details in a case to the judge. But apparently I was mistaken. But anyway, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, news media seem to be ignoring these developments. I mean, they're out there. They're touched on a little bit by ABC. But the news that I just gave you has barely been mentioned on the cable news channels. I don't watch it, but I'm told that MSNBC only got around to reporting this about an hour ago. And they ran a banner at the bottom of the screen that said, "Proof of self-defense? Trayvon Martin family lawyer calls medical report suspicious." So the doctor puts out his report, Zimmerman's doctor, and now MSNBC is saying he might be a liar. And they have to, because they got to cover their own rear ends the way they reported this. I don't know if Zimmerman's doctor is a white Hispanic. Mr. Snertley. But you really have to wonder here. When the news media began to lose interest in the Trayvon Martin story, because you know they did, they lost interest in the Trayvon. They were going 150 miles an hour on this story, and then all of a sudden they dropped it like a hot potato. And you have to wonder why they did that. Was it when they found out that George Zimmerman is actually Hispanic and a Democrat to boot? Was it when Trayvon Martin's gangsta-like tweets surfaced along with the more recent photos of him with his gold teeth? Another detail that has come out in the local reports: Zimmerman's grandfather was black. That's exactly right. That has also surfaced. I wonder how long all of this stuff has been known by our friends in the drive-by media. George Zimmerman has more black in him than Elizabeth Warren has Indian. Exactly right. George Zimmerman's grandfather was black. Now, I had never heard that before, but assuming that that's true, George Zimmerman is a heck of a lot more black than Elizabeth Warren is Indian. Exactly as you stated, Mr. Snertley. Perfect way now to describe George Zimmerman. If all of this is true, and just going by the photos that we've seen of Zimmerman, I'd almost have to say that if Obama had another son, he would look a hell of a lot like George Zimmerman. And by the way, here's another thing. In addition to everything you've heard now from Zimmerman's doctor about all of his injuries and about Trayvon Martin with bruised knuckles that were discovered in the autopsy, the FBI, which is part of Eric Holder's Justice Department, is planning to charge George Zimmerman with a hate crime. The prosecutors claim, and the local prosecutor in Florida, claim that Zimmerman profiled Trayvon Martin. Not only did he profile Trayvon Martin, he stalked Trayvon Martin before killing him. And unlike the charge of second-degree murder, this hate crime, if he's convicted of it, could get Zimmerman executed. So apparently noticing a stranger in your neighborhood is profiling, and following this stranger to see what he's up to is stalking. And they both are hate crimes according to the Obama regime. Even though the article mentions in passing Zimmerman's mother's grandfather is black.